Git, a distributed source control repository. I try to picture clusters of information as they move through the file system. Were the commit messages like history books? I kept dreaming of a repository I thought I'd never see. And then, one day, get real.
You're watching Get Real, and this is level 6, where we're going to be talking about rebase. So you remember in previous levels we talked about merge commits not being so great. You've got merge commits from local branches, merge commits from remote branches, and it might seem like it's polluting your history. That's not so good, but there's an alternative to doing these sort of merges with merge commits, and that's called rebase. So let's jump back into the scenario we were at before, where we have Jane's commit up on GitHub, which is different than Greg's commit that's on local. So instead of doing pull and push, we're going to do fetch and then rebase. So if you remember, when we do fetch, that goes to GitHub and pulls down any changes, but doesn't merge them. So if we took a look at our current branch, it looks something like this. We have master and origin master. Git rebase does 3 things. First, it's going to move all changes to master which are not an origin master. So it's going to take Greg's commit and move that to a temporary area. Then it's going to run all of the origin master commits one at a time. So there it goes. We've run that commit on master. And then third step, it's going to run all the commits in the temporary area on top of our master one at a time. So just like that. Now, as you can notice, there's no merge commits here. It's just one after the next after the next. Back in level 3, when we first learned about local branches, remember we had this admin branch, and then we had to go back and fix some bugs on master, and then we had to merge the admin into master. Well, how might we rebase instead of doing merge? Well, what we might do is first check out the admin branch, then run git rebase master. This is going to first run the master commits, and then it's going to run our additional admin commits. Then the next step is to check out the master branch and then merge from the admin back into master. All this is going to do is one of those fast forwards that we talked about. So it's just going to run the same commits one after the next, and we're good to go. Even if we're running rebase, we still might run into conflicts. So let's take a look at a scenario with the conflict. As you can see here, up on GitHub, we have an extra commit as we do locally, and those 2 extra commits both modify that same README file. Okay, so step 1, we fetch from GitHub. Step 2, we run git rebase. That's going to take all of our new commits from master and move them into a temporary area. Then it's going to run all of the origin master commits. And then finally, it's going to run all of the commits in the temporary area one at a time, which of course is going to lead to a conflict. So here's what you see when rebase runs into a conflict. You can see it's asking us to fix the merge conflict in readme.txt, and when we resolve the problem, run git rebase continue. However, if we want to skip the patch, we could run git rebase skip, or if we want to roll back and pretend we never rebased, we can just do git rebase abort. If we run a git status, we would see that we're not on any particular branch. We're in the middle of the rebase. So after we edit the readme, we do git add readme, then we type git rebase continue, and it continues applying the commits. If we took a look at the commit messages at this point, it would look something like this. So once again, you can see there is no merge conflict. It's all just one after the next, and feels a bit cleaner. I'm not saying that rebase is the answer all of the time. Sometimes you might want to rebase, sometimes you might want to merge. If you're dealing with a branch that's been around for a long time and it has a lot of changes, you probably want to do a merge instead of a rebase. That way you've got, you know exactly when it got merged back in, and you have a log of everything that got changed in that one merge when it came over. Yeah. So it's time for you to get your hands dirty and do some rebasing.